Welcome. Sorry. Okay, here we go. I hope streaming going well. The stream's holding up well because I have apparently some drop frames. Oh well. Anyhow, hi Kalpesh, hi Patrick, hi Alfred. What's up? We have come today to relish in the enough stick back to relish in the drop frames, the 10% of drop frames. I mean, stick bug is the ultimate meme. It really is. Okay. Doki Doki Literature Club. Right. She. Let me adjust the chat box. It's kind of weirdly positioned. Okay. Okay. Oh man. I'm bad at streaming. So the title of this stream is Russian Music and Video Games and Real Life Doki Doki Literature Club. So as always, I like to shitpost with the titles here. But yeah, I'm going to explain what the heck all of this is supposed to mean in a second. Oh, it's the first day of Uni and they bound us with homework already. Dang. It's kind of sucks. Like on the first day, like I'm used to sometimes even not doing really anything on the first day, though kind of, well, mainly in the first days. Later on it was more like they would already start teaching the new stuff, but I would be like, no, I don't want to. I want to have the first day be way more chill. Anyhow, welcome Koseki as well. So Russian Music and Video Games at Real Life Doki Doki Literature Club. I'm going to explain what the heck that's supposed to mean later. Let's start with the Russian music in video games, because that one's kind of straightforward, and you already saw it on the screen. And Koseki, for you, because I'm not sure if you were here a few minutes ago. There we go, just for good measure. So I already mentioned that I was working on the spreadsheet of Russian music and music of Russian elements in video games, which was based on the spreadsheet that I made for my paper with the same title, Russian music and music of Russian elements in video games. And I finished it up on my own. Yeah, you got stick bugged. I couldn't really do it on stream because I can't really stream all of these tracks here. Like, it wouldn't have made sense to do it on stream without streaming the actual pieces here. And, well, that might have gotten me into copyright problems, so I didn't do it. I did it on my own instead. And I'm going to show you what this is. I'm going to make it public in a few days probably. And if you catch any typos, definitely let me know. I'm also currently doing my own research on Russian, like 19th and 20th century music. I think I've mentioned that. Like right now I'm researching the Mighty Five. It's like a group of 5 Russian composers who are pretty well known. Well, mostly like Alexander Borodin, that one might be known, Mili Balakirev, Modest Mussorgsky, of course, Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov, and the fifth one, who I have never heard of, Cesar Cui, I think it's Cui. But yeah, I'm going to talk about that a bit as well, but let's start with Russian music and music of Russian elements in video games before we get to the Doki Doki Literature Club. So, let me just read it out loud. A prototype of the spreadsheet was created for my paper on the usage of Russian music and music with Russian elements in video games in the context of a seminar titled Musik in Videospielen, music in video games. There I looked at a few examples in more detail. Command & Conquer Red Alert 3 Soviet March, Punch-Out's Soda Popinski intro, Katana Zero's V Limo, and Resident Evil Revelation 2's Wodchitska Trojka Pocztowa. Said paper is only available in German, but feel free to contact me if you'd like to receive a copy. I've actually streamed me going through the paper and explaining all the things that I found on stream, like kind of translating it into English. That stream is probably still up somewhere if you're interested. You probably just have to search for Russian on my channel. Let me actually try that. Cutie Cutie. I like that name. Okay, let's see. Yeah, the video is titled Russian Music and Music with Russian Elements in Video Games, and it's 2.5 hours long. Oops, there it is. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to check it out and can speak or read German, then I can recommend watching this video since I explain everything in English there, and I yeah the terrible like I couldn't pronounce unfathomable. I think I got it down now though. Let's see. Unfathomable. There we go. This document is a good starting point if you'd like to research the usage of Russian music in video games. To be able to get through a lot of material quickly and without having to use up a lot of financial resources, soundtracks on YouTube were examined. The research process was more superficial to be able to cover a lot of ground, which means that it's possible that some games mentioned on the second and third pages had tracks that weren't easily publicly available and couldn't be taken into account. Some tracks missing on the second page or tracks from games present on the third page may have featured Russian elements or citations from Russian music that the author of this document overlooked or wasn't able to identify as such. It couldn't always be verified what releases the soundtrack uploads that were examined were from. Version differences, region differences, platform differences, etc. could therefore not be taken into account. The music names used are the ones found on the examined YouTube uploads. They might not be the official names. Oh yeah, recently got around to playing Catherine Full Body, and a lot of the tracks remix classical pieces like Baba Yaga. I actually have Catherine here on this list as well. Going to see it soon. And no worries, Alfred. But yeah, it's pretty tough probably getting like all that homework on the first day of uni. I guess I'm lucky in like that I don't really have a lot of classes next semester because I'm taking like one extra semester. But yeah, you got this, Alfred. Ganbate. Okay, this document has 4 pages, which you can switch between at the bottom. Starting page, this is the page you're currently on. Here you can find general information about this document. Games with Russian music / elements. This page lists games and their music that is either Russian, meaning Russian folk music or music by a Russian composer that wasn't specifically composed for the game, or features elements that are associated with Russian music. Games assumingly without Russian music / elements. This page lists games that were examined because they were under suspicion of having Russian music or music with Russian elements, but didn't have any in the end. And unchecked games. This page lists games that are under suspicion of having Russian music or music with Russian elements, but haven't been examined yet. Oof, Rip Kalpish. I hope you get better soon. I'm praying for you. Imagine that one like praying hands emoji. Actually, let me just send it in. Oh no, I can't send it in chat. I would have to log into my YouTube account on Streamlabs, but I'm too lazy for that. But yeah, I hope you get better soon. For my paper, I split the usage of the found tracks into 5 categories. Immersion into a Russian location. This category was applied when the game was set in Russia, though games with a fictional setting inspired by Russia fit this category as well. Representation of a Russian character. This category was applied to themes of characters of Russian descent. Representation of Russia as an entity. This category was applied to games where Russia itself was an entity or party, not a location or a single character. Said entity was oftentimes symbolized by Russia's military. The reason for that was assumably that games with military themes, like first-person shooters and real-time strategy games, feature multiple countries that war against each other. Using music that's associated with these countries reinforces their separate identity and helps form associations. The game's creation in Russia or the music's creation by a commissioned Russian composer. This category was applied to games where the choice to include Russian elements didn't seem to stem from a connection to the game's content to Russia, but seemed to stem from the convenience of the studio or the composer being Russian. Does the sentence sound right? From the convenience of the studio or the composer being Russian? I mean, in the way like it was convenient for the studio or the composer to just use Russian elements because they are Russian, like because they have because it's easier for them to hire a Russian vocalist as opposed to an English-speaking vocalist, for example. But yeah, let me know if that sounds weird, that sentence. In all cases, this category was applied to music that had Russian lyrics. It can be assumed that it was easier to commission Russian singers or that it helped market the game in Russia. She had me. I need to rewrite this one. In this document, this category was applied to music that had Russian lyrics. Most. All of the cases where this category was applied were songs all of the cases where this category was applied were songs that had Russian lyrics. It can be assumed that it was easier to commission Russian singers or that it helped market the game in Russia. And no connections to Russia. This category was applied to music where the usage of Russian music didn't have any meaning that connected it to the country. It was usually applied to music by well-known Russian art composers. Additional info, Tetris and Korobeniki. Korobeniki is like the song featured, like theme A of Tetris. Our special case. Originally, the main reason for the usage of Korobeniki was the game's marketing as a game from Russia. Tetris didn't feature the piece Korobeniki prior to its release outside of Russia. Some installments of the Tetris series feature Russian imagery, but due to the storyless and simple nature of the game, it can't be counted as immersion into a Russian location or a presentation of Russia as an entity. Welcome, programs, by the way, to this Russian music stream with Doki Doki Literature up at the end. Actually, I can imagine the latter part would actually really interest you, programs. Because we are going to talk about some, literature stuff. I was actually thinking about, Charlie Brown and stuff, but yeah. Maybe you'll stick around and see what it's going to be about. The piece was kept in later installments, the piece being Korobeniki. I forgot. There we go, quotation marks. The piece was kept in later installments mainly due to its popularity as the piece most associated with Tetris. As such, the Tetris games are assigned to the category no connection to Russia. Though technically, marketing and the game's initial origin in Russia could perhaps be named as a reason for the inclusion of Russian pieces in these games. Many named elements don't have to necessarily insinuate that the tracks by themselves are inspired by Russian music. A male choir, for example, could in some cases be more likely linked to the military themes in a game, a profession that is stereotypically linked to men. Red Orchestra 2's songs, The Unstoppable Wehrmacht and So Far From Home are prime examples. They feature a male choir singing in German. Same is true for an umpa rhythm, or the usage of an accordion, which could also be linked to other countries. Like, for example, like France is also kind of associated with accordions. No programs, but still thanks for stopping by. But if the music accompanies a Russian character, location, etc., and or has Russian lyrics, then the aforementioned choices can be more likely attributed to a conscious effort to make the music sound more Russian. Oh, this is like truly like academic lingo. Might have gone a bit overboard with that. I've added further resources that I stumbled upon to some of the games into the very right column. They could possibly help if you'd like to research the game's soundtrack. Actually, let me put that into plural. The game's soundtracks. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions or if you'd like to, or if you think that anything should be added or changed. This spreadsheet was created by me. Accordion. Actually, I thought the same thing because it's actually spelled accordion in German as well. But apparently, accordion with E is the more common spelling. Let me actually look it up real quick. Or, no, it was the other way around. It's spelled with an E in German, but it's spelled with an I in English. Okay, I mixed it up, sorry. Oh, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Patrick. Lifesaver. Where is it? Accordion, here we go. Thanks a lot. I think I fixed it on the next sheet though. Yeah, accordion, okay. It's written with an I on these. I forgot to change this on this sheet though. Thanks a ton. And let's update it today. Here we go. Okay, so I'm just going to talk a bit about the games. Here, like I can't show the music because I'm going to get like ultra hard copyright stricken. But yeah. So first you have Allots Online. It's actually, well, as the name suggests, it's an online game. It's an online MMORPG. Actually, the cool thing about it is that the soundtrack is actually on the site. Like you can download it for free. I'm not 100% sure if this... No, this isn't. This definitely isn't the full soundtrack. But these are some selected pieces. And you can just download them for free. Just like that. They're even like high quality. Like this one's 11 megabytes. That's probably like... These are probably MP3s with only light compression. See what else is there. I have videos and stuff is there as well and pictures. This looks like might be like for press reasons maybe. So yeah, the game was made by a Russian studio and the composer is also Russian, and mainly because of the convenience of like, you know, if your studio is situated in Russia, it makes sense to have a Russian composer that's also living in Russia for like communication, and so they could maybe come into the studio sometimes. And there are actually, like, it's way bigger than I thought. Like, I've never heard of Allots Online, but apparently the game is kind of well known, more or less, which kind of surprised me. There's even like a video on how they recorded the music. Like, they actually had a live orchestra. And there's an interview with Flint Erebos that has quite a few views. He himself is also like a well-liked composer actually. He does, like, he makes really great fantasy music. Like, he's awesome. He did the music for Allots Online, as I mentioned, for King's Bounty, and more. This interview is in Russian, I think. Doesn't have English subtitles. Yeah. Actually, I like how he's kind of apparently a weep a bit. Let me actually show you the thing.
Я сам себе придумал еще в детстве, когда начитался Толкина.
Okay, so he read Tolkien and likes him, I guess, or like he came up with something, like, I assume music, from it, because in his childhood he read Tolkien.
Православный коммунист.
Okay, I'm not sure what that one was about, with him being like, I'm a true Slavic communist. But okay, let's just ignore that one.
Думаю, что это все нереально изменить, и если тебя это что прекрасно.
What's it actually?
Я псевдоним Линда Реброса я сам себе придумал еще в детстве, когда начитался Толкина.
He thought up the name Lind Erebos when he read Tolkien.
Я,
That was it.
И ничего уже не сделать, да?
я музыку писал, а параллельно
There we go. That's the part.
мечом махал.
So yeah, I really love that part of the like intro to the interview. You can see over here he has like Gundams and katanas. So he was like, so I wrote the music, and at the same time, parallelly, I like, what's it called? I like wagged or waggled with the sword. So yeah, interesting person, definitely. It's like a 20-minute interview. Like there's probably a lot info about him. I didn't like fully watch it though. I like watched the intro and I was like, wow, nice. I should probably watch it sometime because like I said, he makes really good music in my opinion. So and the game itself, Outlets Online, is kind of set in a Russia-inspired location. Let's actually look at a few pictures, maybe. It has like some references to Russian folklore and stuff. It kind of looks like a brighter, maybe. No, actually, it's really reminiscent of what's it called? World of Warcraft. So there's like a town actually that I remember seeing that was kind of Russia inspired. Oh, is this like Stalin or something? But yeah, the game has Russian references and stuff. So, but it doesn't have that many, from at least from what I've heard, like Russian music references. There's just one track, Kanye Everest, where there's a lute-like instrument playing a tremolo, which could remind one of a balalaika, maybe. Though he uses lute instruments a lot in his soundtrack in general, kind of like in the ones that I've heard at least. And in Breath of Astral, which is more like a techno piece, there's like some guy saying Dыхание Astrala, which is Russian for Breath of Astral. So yeah, the name of the track, which I could imagine was Lind Erebos himself. But yeah, okay, next one. A pretty famous game, Animal Crossing, the Animal Crossing series with KK Step, which, like, I can show you the cover art and you will immediately see that it's Russian. Like, here we go. And the cover from the newest Animal Crossing game, New Horizon, actually has Cyrillic letters over here. But it has like an Oompa rhythm going on. There's an accordion playing in one of the songs. Are you studying or working in real life? I'm both. I'm mainly studying, like I'm a full-time student. I'm studying musicology. But I am also working as a student helper at my university for like technological stuff. So yeah, kind of both, but I'm mainly a student. Like I only have like 20 hours per week, a 20-hour week starting next month. And like this semester I only had like 8 hours per week, or 16 hours. So yeah, pretty relaxed. And I'm of course also working as a freelance composer. But yeah, officially I'm a full-time student. Okay, next one, Bioshock, Waltz of Flowers. It's Waltz of Flowers by Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky. Plays during the Kohen sequence. If you know the game, it's like it's the artist guy who's like kind of crazy, making like statues with living people forcing one guy to play a piece of his like perfectly, or he gets blown up, like stuff like that. And during the combat sequence, one combat sequence, it plays that one, Walls of Flowers. So it switches. Oh, you're right. It switches. Thanks a ton. It switches to the parallel key later on, similarly to the Russian folk song Kalinka. Okay, I should probably read those a lot as well, just in case I miss some typos. Fyodor Ilyich Tchaikovsky's Waltz of the Flowers, placed during a combat sequence in Sender Cohen's. Let me make that a semicolon. Placed during a combat sequence in Sender Cohen's, an artist section of the game. It was likely chosen since it's a piece by a well-known art music composer, which connects it to the game's section's theme of art. Probably don't need this one. There are quite a few spelling mistakes. Oof. Okay. Let me know which ones are the worst ones. Let's see if I can maybe catch some. A lute-like instrument, possible like playing a tremolo. Let's shorten this actually. Since such tremolo techniques are oftentimes associated with balalaikas and due to the game's connection to Russia, it could be assumed that this choice was deliberate. All versions feature an umpa rhythm reminiscent of an accordion. There's a section where the tempo gradually increases. It switches to the pedal key later on. Similarly to the Russian folk song Kalinka, the air check version features an accordion balalaika reminiscent instrument. Features accordion balalaika reminiscent instruments. Okay. Boom Boom Rocket. This one's a like rhythm game, which features a lot of classical, like remix classical pieces. For example, Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture, Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov's Flight of the Bumblebee, Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky's Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. Actually, one of the main sources for some of these was this book by Unlimited Replays, Video Games and Classical Music by William Gibbons. Do I actually have it? No, I put it away. Okay. But yeah, it's a pretty cool book. It's on, video games or classical music in video games. So I found out about quite a few of these tracks from there. Yeah, that'll probably be the easiest. Actually, do I have you on Discord? If not, feel free, or on maybe Twitter. Like I could send you the a copy of this so you could edit the spelling mistakes if you would be up for it. I would be really thankful for that. Let's see, Call of Duty. It has a Soviet theme, though, doesn't have like much Russian in it. Regrets. Oh, right. Okay, I'll send you a private message afterwards then. Oh yeah, you're even my mod. Okay. I sent you a message on Discord then after the stream. Thanks, Satan. Okay, but yeah, like Call of Duty always has like some Russian references, or like Russia as a either like Spetsnaz as a playable like group, or like you're in Russia in a story. But the one that I found was the Soviet theme here in Call of Duty World at War, and doesn't really have much to do with Russia. Like the lyrics are Latin. But there is a lute-like instrument that might be a balalaika. You should add reminiscent of a balalaika. Can be heard later on that could link this theme to Russia. But yeah, other than that, it's not too Russian, kind of. And Catherine, here we go. The one that's you mentioned, Patrick, I believe. Yeah. The Hut and False Legs. That one is Modus Mussorgsky's The Hut and False Legs. Здорово indeed. Welcome. Minus. Yeah, Catherine uses, like Patrick already mentioned, a lot of arrangements from classical music pieces. And one of those is, of course, also The Hut on False Legs by Modus Mussorgsky, one of the most well-known Russian composers. He was actually part of the Mighty Five, which I'm going to talk about, which I'm currently researching. And I want to talk about a bit later. But yeah, the track is kind of aggressive, of course. It's like it fits the in-game in-game usage pretty well because it is also used during a boss fight, and William Gibbons actually welcome Noskovsky. We don't have any Belarusian pieces here, but thanks a ton still. It actually used to be Borrowed. Okay, let me actually get William Gibbons. But yeah, William Gibbons actually has one specific interpretation of it with the game having some connection to sexuality and stuff, and Baba Yaga is kind of then used as a representation of the scary parts of romance, love, and sexuality, to kind of symbolize it. Okay, give me a second, I'm gonna get that book. Okay, so here you go. This is it. 103 Plays by William Gibbons. My library of ludomusicological books is ever growing. Which page is it? 107. Oh, he actually doesn't have a list of the actual references to the game. He mentions the piece by Mussorgsky in more detail over here. Here's the list, but without any descriptions of what the pieces, the actual classical pieces are. It's the description of the boss levels and how to interpret them. But he does talk about Baba Yaga in more detail down here. So I'm actually surprised that he didn't make a list, because for Boom Boom Rocket he actually made a proper list. Where's Boom Boom Rocket? Over here. Because here he made a proper list of the game's pieces and what the original pieces were. And I thought he would have made one for Catherine as well. So it actually has a piece by Borodin. Let me Google that real quick. Yeah, it does. Oh, thanks a lot. Okay, I'm going to add that one to the list as well. You half a lifesaver. More than fuller lifesaver. A full lifesaver. Okay. Let's see. That's the one. Nice. Okay, let me add that one. Proteins Polovtsian dances. Okay, there we go. Thanks a ton. Okay, then we have all those civilization games. Will you play music instruments live on YouTube in the future? I might consider doing some more like piano playing, but the thing is that I've recently didn't really have much time to play the piano, and so didn't really have time to like practice a set or something. Unfortunately, so I hope I will get the opportunity to play some more on stream. I think what I will definitely do, I think, is when, for example, one of the games that I'm composing for, Lovesick Darlings, when this one comes out, I will definitely play a few of those pieces on the piano. And then also like play the game and show the soundtrack off and stuff. So I think the answer is yes, but I have no idea when that will be. Okay. So Civilization Civnet, Civilization 1, both of those. Tim plays piano almost every stream. Yeah, but kind of just really like short, like for a few minutes. And then I go into like nerdy stuff, like nerding about music theory and stuff. But yeah, like a full on concert, not sure when that's gonna be. But yeah, I do play a bit of piano, at least, sometimes on my streams. Probably not today though, unfortunately. But yeah, Song of the Volga Boatman. Actually, the original song name is Pololatskaya, which is what's the other alternative name? Let me actually look in my paper. Oops, too far. Uchnium, right. This is another name that it's known as. Like, I think most people know it as the Song of the Volga Boatman. It's also Uchnium and Bolatskaya. The thing with Bolatskaya is that there's like another piece that's apparently, like at least to my mother, is even more well known than this Bolatskaya, which is more well known here in the West, which sounds, or no, the Uchnium, I think it's both. It's an Uchnium and a Bolatskaya as well, like another piece that has pretty much the same name, but has a different melody and different lyrics. So it can be a bit confusing, but this piece is the Song of the Volga Boatman, the one that's well known here in like the Western world. That's mostly used when, like, it's a stereotypical Russian song that's used whenever something Russian happens on screen, like in a video game or a movie, or when something like heavy needs to be done, like in SpongeBob. There's that one episode where there's like this huge worm, and as they like shift, like try to shift the city out of the way of the like worm's way, like the full city, it plays like the Song of the Volga Boatman, because they're like trying to push the whole town to the side, in like SpongeBob fashion. Or there's like a scene in The Simpsons where there's like what's called, like, it's some kind of meter that measures how drunk you are, I think. And Homer blew into it, and it had like hit like all the top, like being like, okay, you're totally drunk. And since there's a stereotype of Russians being always drunk or drinking a lot, it played the Song of the Volga Boatman. So yeah. Then there's of course also Civilization 4, which has the Peter or Stalin theme. It features the Song of the Olga Boatman as well, and both of those have balalaikas. Then Civilization 5 has Sergei Prokofiev's Montag and Capulet. I think the original doesn't have lyrics, but the pieces in Civilization do have lyrics, so I'm kind of a bit confused about that. But yeah, I couldn't really make out the lyrics. And if someone's here that knows Montag and Capulet and is actually like, wait, the song isn't actually instrumental, it does have lyrics, let me know. But when I like looked into it, I didn't really find any lyrics. And Civilization 6 features the song Kalinka. It's played on a balalaika first, and then transitions into, I think, into a more and more orchestral track. And yeah, that's that for Civilization. I think most people know the like Civilization once, maybe, because at least for me, it was one of the like first games I thought of when I thought of Russian music and video games. See, Command and Conquer Red Alert 3. This one has a few, of course, the Soviet March, the most well-known one, which actually has Russian lyrics, and where the audio director actually said that it was supposed to imitate a Cossack choir. The interesting thing about the lyrics is you might know the like wrong lyrics, so to speak. Like a lot of people made up their own lyrics, like trying to hear out the lyrics when listening to the song, but those aren't actually correct. Like the actually correct lyrics are over here. There we go. This isn't quite like fully like as it is in the original, because I think the middle verse doesn't actually exist in the Soviet March. I think they cut that one out during the like after they've recorded it, maybe. But yeah, there's like let's see here. There's like a thing where it says like something vodka Ruski Medved nash, something like that, where it translates to I can't remember what Stolica is. It was like some place you can eat at or something, I don't know. Vodka and Russian bear. And in the original lyrics there's nothing about vodka. So yeah. Kind of a bit weird. Maybe a bit. Maybe the transcribers were a bit like too inclined to include like Russian, stereotypes. They went like, oh yeah, this kind of sounds like maybe a bit like vodka, and Russians like are known for drinking vodka, so it's gotta be vodka, even though the original lyrics don't have any vodka mentioned in them. There's also Russian Celebration, which has like Russian lyrics sung by a male choir, and the Red March or Peace, which is the Soviet March, again just featuring an accordion, and it's a bit faster. Would any of the tracks from Metal Gear Solid 3 count because it's set in Russia? If they have Russian elements or are Russian music in the sense of like Russian folk music or like created by a Russian art composer, so a Russian composer that didn't compose it strictly for the game, then yes, and it is actually on this list here. So yeah, but I only found one piece on there that was actually like had Russian music elements or was Russian music. But we're going to get to that in a second. Command Company of Heroes, that's another like military game, just like Command and Conquer and Civilization. Like there are a lot of military games here that have like Russian tracks. Like I mentioned on the starting page is mostly, I assume, because it's easier to like keep them apart from the other countries, like to give each country their own individuality by using music from that country, since like these military games use Russia as an entity. Like it's like one huge character, so to speak, that can be chosen to fight as, or like, yeah, pretty much that. Company of Heroes, I think this one is actually, it's set in Russia, and I think you mainly play a Russian like from the viewpoint of the Russians. Hi Aurora, what's up? We're currently looking through my documents on Russian music and music Russian elements in video games. Oh, you're new here. And, well, then I hope you will enjoy the stream. It's a bit dry. It's a bit drier. Like last time we made some music, and this time I was like, okay, I finished up this document. It's like an academic thing, I guess. Like this list on which games have what music that is kind of Russian. So yeah, but after that we are going to do some literature clubbing, which might be a bit more engaging. So all of these tracks, like there are a ton of tracks in here that have Russian lyrics or have a Russian choir. Not all of the lyrics could be made out. There's one channel that did a few transcriptions or tried to make them. But yeah, other than that, I couldn't like find official lyrics, unfortunately. But it didn't look too hard. Like this was more like rough research to be able to cover a lot of ground. And I love the name of this track. In Russia, Rubik Cubes solves you. It doesn't sound right. Rubik's solves you. It's actually without the... Okay, Rubik's... Oh, because it's a Rubik's Cube. It's a cube that belongs to Rubik. Okay, I got it. Then we have Gillbone Gang War Tour, one of the most cursed games there is. Just look at them. It's a children's game. It's like an educational game. And Vinesauce, that's a streamer that I watch, played them just for fun. And yeah, it's a bit cursed. Especially the frog. The frog is kind of cursed. It like eats everything, even humans. Like you can put everything in its mouth and it like makes it disappear. It's kind of creepy. So yeah, there's one game called Ward Tour in the series, and it has one segment where you can hear like a song about Sasha and his falcon. Sasha's like a soldier, a Russian soldier. There's like a falcon and that like flies around the city. So yeah, it's like pretty simple, like children's song pretty much. Then Gran Turismo 5. This one was actually told to me by someone on my Discord channel. I still haven't found out who it was. Like if anyone remembers who the heck recommended or told me that Gran Turismo 5, Little Big Planets, had Russian music. I think you said it wasn't you, Patrick. But if anyone finds out, I'll have to add them to to a special thanks section. And I'll have to add you as well, Patrick, after you proofread this. Hydix. Oh yeah, I have to watch that one as well. I think there's actually a new Hydix game. Isn't there like Hydix 2 out already? I have to watch that one. So Gran Turismo 5 features Prokofiev's Piano Sonata number 7. I believe this is the third movement. Precipitato. I'm not sure why they chose to use this one. Maybe they probably just chose a random like Russian piece. Not Russian, a random classical piece. Oh, you told me about Gran Turismo 5. Ah, okay. I think then it must have been also you who told me about maybe about Little Big Planet as well. I feel like, and Mother 3. I'm not sure. Okay. So yeah, they probably just chose some random like art piece, classical piece, to make it seem more sophisticated. I assume maybe like the art of driving a car. Hearts of Iron 4, another military game. Soviet victory in the might of Soviet Union. They both feature male choirs that could be reminiscent of the like Alexandrov ensemble. Most people know that Alexandrov ensemble as the Red Army Choir, by the way, or the Don Cossack Choir. And yeah, not sure if the lyrics are Russian, but I think they are. The Katana Zero, this one was featured on my paper, and actually just realized I need to make these into links. There we go. Okay. And it's a hard bus piece, which some of you might know as the meme electronical Russian music. Oh, they were both you. Okay, got it. Now I finally know who to thank for this, because I put it on my list, but I forgot to like write next to it who actually recommended them to me. So yeah, thanks a ton. So yeah, there's like a Russian character named V, and in his limo you can actually hear that music. And I actually found out about this, like I wrote an email to the composer, and he told me a bit about like how he tried to make it hard bass, and they have had like some Russians on the team who like listened to it and then told him whether it was like okay or not. He actually also gave me a fun fact that he actually tried to also incorporate Russian opera singing into the piece, but then decided against it after all. The whole like thing behind this was like to figure out what kind of music V, the character in this game, would listen to in their like limousine. She let me go to that thing because, oh yeah, here's a screenshot of him going like "Niet blять." So yeah, this is V, the one with the blue hair. He like swears in Russian, so, and there's like Cyrillic letters, so it's like kind of pretty obvious that he's Russian. Okay, King's Bounty, I already mentioned that one. It was like the music was composed by the same guy who made the music for All Odds Online, Lind Erebos. And there's a piece called Under the Shadow of the Oak, which was one of the first video game pieces of Russian lyrics that I found actually. Though it was probably like, I don't think King Bounty has anything to do with actual Russian culture. It was, I assume it mainly has Russian lyrics because it has, because it was composed by, like the game was made by a Russian studio and the music was composed by a Russian composer, so it made sense to hire a Russian singer. I assume it was more convenient. And the composer, Lent Erebos, actually posted the lyrics and the chords of like the chorus, or well, the main singing part. They posted them into a forum, the King's Bounty forum. So that's pretty convenient. So I wanted to cover that. I now knew what chords to play. Then King's Bounty Armored Princess, which is a kind of a sequel, I believe, which like one of the pieces also features Russian lyrics. So it's pretty much the same as with King's Bounty, the main series. Then there's Kingdom Hearts 2 with Night on Bald Mountain. It features Modus Mussorgsky / Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov's. There we go. Night on Bald Mountain. It accompanies a boss fight with Chernobog, which originally was a Slavic deity, but Nintendo kind of took that and turned him into like a demon, like the Disney demon or something, which is why it's featured in Kingdom Hearts. But yeah, this is kind of like the Chernobog's theme, which is why I said that it's the representation of a Russian character. So the reason why it's not quite clear if it's like Modus Mussorgsky or Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov is, I believe, that Modus Mussorgsky composed the piece. At least that's what they say. And Korsakov made a rearrangement of it. And that rearrangement is more popular than the original, apparently. And so people kind of fight whether it should be, like, the piece should be attributed to Mussorgsky or Korsakov. I could be wrong, though. It was just a quick Google search. I didn't do any, like, in-depth research on that. But yeah, because of that, I put, like, both composers in here, just to be on the safe side. Then Little Big Planet 2, the Gadfly, it features Shostakovich's Gadfly suit, the finale. It's like the final boss theme. Metal Gear Solid 1, its main theme, it doesn't like necessarily have like a Russian, like a certain reason behind it. Behind it being Russian, like it's not. Okay, the thing is, it doesn't necessarily feature Russian elements or is an actual Russian piece, but the thing is that there was like this controversy. Actually, though, Kojima was shown this theme Georgi Sviridov's Winter Road, and it sounds really similar to the Metal Gear Solid main theme. Like you can check it out on YouTube, there are like comparisons. And yeah, it sounds really similar. Like I think it wasn't on purpose. I don't think the composer like copied with the Georgi Sviridov's Winter Road on purpose. But yeah. I still put it in here because it's like still Russian music related. Was Question 20 on the list? It samples Flight on Bumblebee and the Bee Chase Ost. I think I actually tried to check it out. I listened to the chase music in Crushed Insanity, but I didn't find the Flight of the Bumblebee sample, but I might have listened to the wrong soundtrack. I'll check it out in a second. Actually, let me check it out. Let me check it out in a second after I'm done with Metal Gear. So you mentioned Metal Gear Solid 3, which is set in Russia. But there was only one theme that I found that had like Russian references. Which might be because I'm not literate enough in like Russian art music. Like, it might feature like a piece by Shostakovich or something, or Prokofiev that I've never heard. But yeah, the one that I definitely could make out was Korsakov's Flight of the Bumblebee, which plays later on in the piece Escape from the Woods. Okay, now let me check out Crash to Insanity. Bee Chase. Okay, I'll listen to the wrong. Yeah, I listened to the wrong thing. Okay. I can't remember, like I listened to some other like, I listened to the Rusty Walrus Chase music. That's why. Okay. I listened to the wrong chase music. Wait. This is the wrong way around. This should be above this. Actually, should be above this. It's all gotta be in like alphabetical order. Okay, there we go. Crash would be here. Okay, Crash to Insanity. Oops. Totem Hokum Bee Chase. And it features let me just copy paste it. Konevsky Korsakov's Flight of the Bumblebee. And no connection to Russia. There we go. At least I assume that the Bee Chase doesn't take place in Russia. Correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, there's like a video. Yeah, it doesn't look too Russian. Crash Bandicoot in general is kind of more set in like the tropical areas. Okay, MiG-29 Soviet Fighter. It's a NES game which features the Song of the Volga Boatman. It's in its Game Over and Landing tracks. Then we have Mother 3, which, like the Mother series, is kind of famous for sampling like music in general. Like there's a lot of like references to the Beatles in Mother 2 or Earthbound, I believe. Mother 3 features like 2 pieces by Shostakovich. There's one more where I couldn't really figure it out whether it was actually true, but I don't remember it anymore. But I think there was one track from the Mother, another track from the Mother 3 soundtrack that was set to like feature some like track from Shostakovich, some piece from Shostakovich. But yeah, the one that Patrick, I believe, mentioned was Unfounded Revenge, which quotes Shostakovich's Sixth Symphony. And there's also Audacious March, which quotes Symphony Number 5 by Shostakovich. Oh, I think the other one which I couldn't verify was Porky's Theme. Some people said that it also features something from Shostakovich. I can't speak. I need to drink something. But yeah, I couldn't really verify that. Okay, then there's Parodius, the Octopus Saves the Earth, which is, I believe, a shmup, shoot 'em up. It features Rimsky-Korsakov's Flight of the Bumblebee. That one's like pretty famous. Like most people like using Flight of the Bumblebee or Song of the Volga Boatman, it seems. Crime of the Century features Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto No. 1. And Waltz of the Octopus, of course, features Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake finale. Oh, messed up the alphabetical order. Oh, why did you think that? How did Giggle Bone Gang? Okay? I mean, G looks pretty similar to. Pretty similar to C, so it's close enough. Crash to Insanity would be over here. No, it wouldn't be. R, it would be here. Dang. Okay, let's see. C. Okay. Now I got it. Okay. Pipe Dream used the Song of the Volga Boatman. Punch Out, Solo Provinsky intro, features the Song of the Volga Boatman. The Wii version also features the Song of the Volga Boatman in the intro, but it also has like a male choir singing something, which is kind of reminiscent of the Alexandrov Ensemble or Don Cossack's choir. Then just of course Tetris, Puyo Puyo Tetris. I think it's the like newest like official release in the Tetris like franchise, Nintendo's Tetris franchise. It's like full of Korobeniki. Like there are 4 pieces, all of them feature Korobeniki, which is also known as the like theme A track from Tetris, though that it's not the same. Korobeniki, like the theme A, features Korobeniki and then extends it a bit more. Like there's an extra part in the theme A of Tetris that isn't in Korobeniki. So it's like you could maybe call it a variation of Korobeniki, or like Korobeniki with an added part, like newly composed added part, I believe. Okay, Red Coaster 2, another military game. Mainly like male choir singing in Russian. Victory at the Barricade was actually interesting because this one is like really similar to the Russian national anthem. I recommend listening to them side by side. They're really similar. And the Soviet victory theme actually has Nasha Gvardia. It's a Russian like song. Let's see if there's like some info on it. But it's a well-known Russian song. Guess not well known enough to us to have a Wikipedia page. But yeah, Resident Evil Revelations 2, which has what Chitska Trojka Pocztowaya, which is a Russian folk song. It roughly translates to like see or dare the male troika, troika being like a actually have to look up that word. Let's see, it's a carriage. Yeah, it's a carriage that's being pulled by 3 horses. So look, the troika, the male troika is I guess some people like to translate it to it's rushing, though I'd rather say it's like it's exerting effort, like it's putting up a lot of like strength, I guess, to like for example get through a snowstorm or like to hurry somewhere. I guess rushing would be an okay translation for that. Though I'd say like it's in combination with like some physical, like the exertion of like physical strength. Stalin vs. Martians, which is a meme game, kind of. It's a parody game. It's the piece Chastushki samples a Russian song, but I haven't been able to identify it. So if you know your way around Chastushki, like I tried to Google the lyrics, like what I could make out from the lyrics, but I couldn't really find it. So yeah, if you or anyone you know like can't figure out what this is, would be awesome. Street Fighter 2x2, Zangief. You might know Zangief, like he's the Russian character in Street Fighter. This one has some Russian like elements. Street Fighter 5, Zangief's theme also has like some Russian elements, like it features a tremolo balalaika. But I was actually kind of surprised that it doesn't like his theme barely like in any of the games barely features any like Russian like references at all. Like same for most of the fighting games. Like over here I have quite a few like games like Battle Area and Tushidem, Dead or Alive. Thought there were more. Well, but yeah, I think I removed a few, but there are like quite a few like battle games that have Russian characters, and was surprised to find that they didn't really have like Russian music. It's kind of odd. Super Tetris 3, which has a lot of Russian music. It has like Katyusha, it features Korobeniki, again Katyusha, Porushka Polye, which is a pretty cool Russian folk song. Let me streamline it. Okay, there we go. Again, Karabeniki, it features the Bogatyr Gates by Modest Mussorgsky and Kalinka. One cheat sculpt Trojka Почтовая again. And it features like part of the Tetris type A theme, which isn't like in the original Karabeniki. And this one's a medley. I haven't been able to identify all of them. Like it features Katyusha, Song of the Volga Boatman, Kalinka, Vodmchica, Trojka Почтовая. And the first piece could be Po Dorogomu I Po Vzgorjem, which my mother like told me like it sounded pretty similar to it, and I had to agree. But yeah, I haven't been able to identify all of the pieces, unfortunately. But yeah, maybe some of the people who read this will be able to. Team Fortress 2, you might know the character Heavy. It's like the Heavy character. There you go, he's Russian. And he hums the Song of the Volga Boatman. The Tetris again. Of course, the OG Nintendo Tetris with theme A, which features the Russian folk song Karabeniki. Oof, my tongue is getting like all tied up. Tetris Tengen, which also has a lot of like Russian music, just like Super Tetris 3. It features the Bogatyr Gates, Kalinka, Katyusha, Vodmchica, Trojka Почтовая, Karabenik. Well, the part from the Type A theme that didn't originate from Karabeniki. It has like a lot of Oompa rhythm going on. Pooties? What? And which was the interesting one? Yeah, Bogatyr Gates. It features that one as well. Oh yeah, this one was actually really interesting. Loginska, because the thing is, it features like elements that could be associated with Russia, with Russian music, like the Oompa rhythm, which is like reminiscent of an accordion, and it increases in tempo all the time, just like Katyusha. But the piece is actually Tancuj Tancuj Vykrucaj. It's like a traditional Slovakian song. Was Vykrucaj? Tancuj Tancuj Vykrucaj, yeah. I can't speak Slovakian, by the way, so I'm not sure if I like pronounce it like correctly. It's actually pretty interesting because it's like being marketed as a Russian game, but you have like a Slovakian piece in here, which is kind of out of place. Tetris 99, of course, which features Karabeniki as well, and Flight of the Bumblebee during the like last section when there's like only a few people left in this Battle Royale style game. The Big Adventure, which has really weird cover art, by the way. Like it's you can tell that's an old game. Here's the Big Red Adventure. So yeah, it takes place in Russia. It has a piece called Russian Techno, which features Karabeniki, and there's like some random person like just saying "da" all the time, like every now and then. It's like really random, but yeah. The Stalin Subway, which is also really interesting. It features Georgy Sviridov's Vremya Vperyod, like there are 3 originally composed pieces in this game. One of those is Vremya Vperyod by Georgy Sviridov. But the thing is that the majority of the soundtrack actually consists of Russian, like older pieces, like vinyl recordings is what it sounds like. There's actually a soundtrack here with the full list. I recommend checking it out. It's like there's some pretty cool like old Russian music on it. Like not all of this is like old. Like this one is, I think, an older piece, but it says Sovimeni cover, which means that it's like a new cover, like a recover of it. So yeah, it's kind of like Fallout. This guy really does look like the Yes meme, like with the side profile. But yeah, this game's like really similar to Fallout in that way that in like it like features like old music, old Russian music. That sounds like it's coming from a like vinyl player or like an old radio. Tooth Invaders, an old Commodore 64 game, which also features Song of the Warrior Boatman. War Thunder. The trailer specifically is like a flight simulator, like war flight game, which features, or like the trailer music is Nie Speshy, which is a pretty cool track in my opinion. Like I recommend checking it out. The version used in the trailer is a modern version. It's pretty good as well. Like I like both the modern version and the original, which was popularized by I don't remember who. Let me look it up. Anna German. Anna German popularized Nispeshi, and it was picked up by another band later on. Then War and Conflict and World of Tanks and War Thunder. All of those are war games, as always. This one features Tremolo Balalaikas and World of Tanks. One of the maps, Malinovka, features the Song of the Boatman and Tremolo Balalaikas. And here we go. Oh boy, my throat is like dead. Like I bet everyone that was like watching this stream has already fallen asleep. Rip my throat. Too much talking. Okay, but holy moly, we did it. So the plan for this is like I mentioned, I'm going to send this your way, Patrick, later on after the stream. So you can look over it and fix my terrible grammar mistakes or like typos. Let me actually already put your name on here. Special thanks to Patrick. Should I go with Patrick or should I put like Patrick Draper in there? Let me know who you want to be thanked. And if you want me to add like that you do the editing and like that you like recommended pieces. Or it should just be like a special thanks. I'll leave it up to you in case you have like specific preferences. Okay, so as you could see in the title of the stream, as you can still see, there's still one more section left. The mystery section. The mysterious section of the Doki Doki Literature Club in real life. What the heck does that mean? Patrick Draper. Okay. I was thinking of reading, which sounds like a mind-breaking concept. Like what? Reading? Who reads nowadays? Who needs reading? But no, just japing. I haven't like actually been reading like at all in the last years, except for non-fiction texts, you know, for my papers and stuff. Like I've pretty much just been reading non-fiction texts or books, and other than that, like I guess my media consumption was, other than that, mostly like video games or manga or anime. I watched a lot of anime this semester break already. But yeah. I was thinking of doing some more reading, and as I was thinking, I like got a bit like nostalgic about the books, so I thought, hey, let's do like a mini book club thing on the stream. It's probably gonna be just a one-time thing, except like if I'm going to update you, like, oh, I finished reading or started reading this book, like on some of the streams. Oh, actually, I forgot about the Mighty Five. Okay, but yeah, in a second I'm going to want to talk a bit about books, and definitely let me know if you have any book recommendations. This section, I believe, is going to be a bit more interactive as opposed to the section just now. Since I would love to hear your book recommendations or your favorite books. But before that, the thing that I forgot to talk about. Here we go. I've made notes. So I was in the library last 2 weeks ago, researching the Mighty Five, which is a group of 5 people. I've been reading the book Die Russischen Fünf, which is just the German name for that group, the Russian Five, by Sigrid Neef. He has a pretty good overview of all of those composers. He has a general section of the group in general, and then he has one section for each composer. So you get an insight into each composer before bringing all of those together. So the 5 composers are, let me just pull up the Wikipedia page. I have it here in my notes as well, but you can read along that way. There you go, the 5. Mili Balakirev, Cesar Cui, Modest Mussorgsky, Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov, and Alexander Borodin. Oh, Master Course. Okay, I gotta check it out in a bit. But yeah, those 5 composers, that's the group. They were a group of friends, pretty much. And Mili Balakirev, the one guy up here, was kind of said to be the leader of that group. But yeah, so all of this, this group existed in the 19th century, as you can see over here. Around 1856, 1857 was when the group was kind of formed. So the thing was the cut was at the death of Glinka. Glinka died at 1856, I believe. Glinka, there he is. Let's see, when did he die? 57, yeah. So the death of Glinka was kind of said to be the beginning of the Mighty Five, the Mighty Handful. Which Mili Balakirev met Glinka in 1856, I believe. So he was kind of a bit inspired, I believe, by him, figure. And Glinka was one of the, at least his Wikipedia page says so, one of the big Russian composers, first big Russian composers. I'm going to research Glinka as well later on, but I want to concentrate on the Mighty Five for now. And apparently there wasn't really an official concert live in Russia, apparently. Or a public music live. I'm not sure if that means concerts. Can't imagine there not being any concerts in Russia, but maybe I might be wrong. But yeah, at least the book said there was no public music live, which might explain why those 5 try to promote Russian music, or the idea of a national Russian art music. Most of them weren't actual musicians at first. Cesar Cui was a military engineer. Borodin was a professor for chemistry, but Balakirev kind of inspired him, which is maybe why he's said to be the leader of the 5. He was their starting point, kind of. Balakirev met Cui first, in 1857. Then Cui gets to know Mussorgsky. Let me close my window. Holy moly, there was a wasp right in front of my window. I had to close it real quick. So yeah, QE met Mussorgsky, got him on the team, and so on. And by 1862, everyone was like they have gathered. It says they collaborated from 1856, but like they came in one by one up until 1862. Like 1862 was when the last one joined them. So that's why they say that Balakirev, like who started all by meeting QE and inspiring QE to become a musician, who then got Mussorgsky on board and so on. Why he's said to be like the one who started the new Russian school of music. And they wanted to make their own like Russian music without any Western influences. Like that's one of the things that I remembered myself from when I looked into like Russian music, what makes Russian music Russian. When it comes to art music, they wanted to distance themselves from the like Western theory, kind of. So it kind of, I guess, started with them. Hi Angel, what's up? We're going to talk about books in a second, no worries. Not, it's not going to be as dry. I think you already like didn't have to like experience the most driest part, the spreadsheet. Okay. They wanted to like their whole thing was incorporating Russian folklore, like to express add expression to the music through the national language. They were against Wagner's ideas, pretty much, apparently. Like it says they were like anti-Richard Wagner. Yep, I'm Russian. Like I was born in Russia, but I'm not fluent in Russian, unfortunately, because I moved away when I was 5. But I did or do still like study Russian in university as my like side subject. And it says that 1870 was the end of this, but actually my source says that it was 1872 when it like broke apart. Another important thing to add, like regarding the how they want to make their own like Russian sound, like separate from the Western music, was that the music scene was kind of dominated, like in Russia, was dominated by non-Russian music, like by music from other countries. So even Glinka had it like difficult, apparently, to like gain recognition on the Russian music market because there were so many like composers from overseas. So it was kind of understandable that these 5 were like, we need to have like our own Russian music, not just like Western music. So yeah, and I have started reading up on Balakirev. So a bit of his like biography. Like he was a musician through and through. Like he got like, as opposed to like Huey, for example, who was mainly an engineer, like military engineer. So Balakirev got a lot of like Russian or like music education early on. He learned to play the piano. He was pretty good at it. He made his own like first compositions at like the age of 14. But then he did study math, not meth, the drug, but math, the like subject. But then he decided to like drop it because Alexander Uribyshev wanted him to come like to become a like full-time musician. So yeah, he dropped it and like got a job as a like many musician. He made the like free music school. Would it be called the free music school? Well, yeah, I guess the free music school, which was like free music education. I think it was more focused on maybe instrumental stuff. Like there was another school. What was it called? Russian Music Society. Was that it? I might have to review it. But yeah, there was another like big music conservatory, where you could learn like music. And yeah, but he made his own thing with the free music school. But then he also became like a dirigent at the like Russian Music Society thing. But he was forced to resign. And 1872, he actually like his music wasn't selling. Like he wasn't making any money. So he like dropped everything. He stopped associating with anyone. And started to be like a male or like train, what's it called? Railroads, train, something like that. Like he worked at a railroad, like not construction or anything, but I guess like as a male person, and at train stations. And I don't remember who it was exactly. Might have been, maybe it was Korsakov, maybe Mussorgsky, I don't know. But one of them facilitated the message that it was in the end like Balakiev's fault that the Mighty Five broke apart in 1872. Though I guess it wasn't like quite as black and white like that. But yeah, in 1876, like 4 years later, after like the Mighty Five broke up, he came back after all and made some more music. What's Islami? Islami. It's like a piece by. Oh yeah, it's a piano piece by Balakirev. Ooh. It's supposed to be like the one of the hardest pieces to play. Well, I mean, I guess theoretically he could have been like, he could have composed it without being able to play it himself, but I don't think he did that. He probably was able to play it himself. Okay, so yeah, that's the research I have done so far. Going to continue some more with Balakirev and then like go through all the other 5 composers and keep you updated on that. Okay, but let's get back to books. So I want to talk about books. Actually, just one book that, like, it's my favorite book that I haven't finished reading, which sounds a bit weird. But yeah, I have like only read half of it over the like last 10 years. Called House of Leaves. What, has anyone here actually heard of House of Leaves? It's a bit of an obscure book, but it did win a few prizes because it's pretty good, in my opinion. Here we go. Here it is. House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. The name sounds kind of Slavic, but it isn't really. He's an American-born writer. So the thing with this book is, like, I want to finish reading it, actually, maybe in this semester break. Actually, I have to switch to webcam because I have to show you the pages, because that's what makes it actually interesting. So the thing is, let me give you like a quick summary what this is about. I guess the page is already pretty interesting. Like here it says, like, it's by Mark Z. Danielewski. He's the author. But over here we have like by Zampano with introduction and notes by Johnny Truant. What the heck's that supposed to mean? So the thing is, the book is about Johnny Truant. He works at a tattoo studio, he's, well, not always up to good. But he and his friend, like his friend hears like that there's someone who died in a house, and the house is empty now, and he's like, "Hey, Johnny, let's go rob that that guy's house." So they just wanted to loot. Like the house was empty, like there was no one living there. Zampano, that's the dead guy. Zampano didn't really have relatives, I think, or like no one that was really close to him. So yeah, they just broke in since there was no one like guarding it or no one else living there. And Johnny found a stack of like notes. Like it was like a huge box. There were like assorted notes, like manuscripts, pages, napkins, like those noted, like those small thingies that you can write notes on and then like paste somewhere. Like attach it to your desktop, for example, or like to your desk, so you don't forget stuff. And he took this with him. Like he was strangely like pulled to it, getting pulled to the book, and so he takes it back home and then starts making like a book out of it, like starting to edit it. Like he was pretty much the editor. But Zampano was the one who wrote it. So Johnny is pretty much the one who is pretending to be the author of this book. This reminds me a bit of Pushkin. Like Pushkin, I think it was Pushkin, might have been another Russian author. But Pushkin also had that idea of being like, I'm not actually the author of this book. I actually just found this as it is. Like someone else wrote this by the name of I don't know who, or like there's no author to this book, or like I just found these notes, or someone told me the story and I'm now writing this down. I'm not actually the one who made the story up. Like it's a true story, like something like that. Kind of reminds me of this. So that's the way it was written. Like Johnny Truant took this text by Zampano, and Zampano wrote a text on a documentary called, I think the Navidson Record. I think that's what it was called, the Navidson record. The Navidson Record is a documentary by a filmmaker, but who made this documentary, like he himself says that it's not fictional as well, like this documentary maker who made this documentary, Navidson Record. Navidson is also the name of this like filmmaker. This book, this documentary doesn't exist in real life, by the way. And Zampano writes a academical text on this Navidson record, on this documentary. And in this documentary, Navidson notices that his house is a bit bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. So he gets like a friend of his who's like a carpenter or something to measure it, and sure enough, the house is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And then they find like a door to like a closet that wasn't actually there originally, and then they open it and it's like there's a new like pathway leading, like not a pathway, like a corridor that should be leading out of the house. Like it extends further than the house is actually long. So like the space is kind of warped. And then they start like going in with a team to like explore this place. And Navidson also puts up cameras like to document. He films all of this, like his interaction with the like people who go in exploring stuff. Like he documents how he like interacts with his family. Like he has like security cameras set up. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And Zampano writes a like academic text on it. As you can see here, like there are a ton of like footnotes with like fake like books and stuff. Like all of these don't exist. There's no book called The Five. There's no book called or journal called The Holloway Question with an article called The 5.5 Meters Holloway. And I think it exists neither in our world nor in Johnny's world. Like Zampano made all of this up. And it could be assumed that the Navidson record doesn't exist either. Like that it's all Zampano's imagination. So yeah, there are like these like frames. There's Johnny, who's editing this text and adding like his own footnotes and like adding his own story. Like there are like pretty long footnotes sometimes where Johnny like just goes on a rant like what happened to him. Like here, look at this. Oops, this is a footnote written by Johnny, like explaining his like point of view. It goes like over 3 pages, 4 pages even. And the most interesting part is since like I guess Johnny is trying to make it like faithful, and since it's like some notes or like there are like a few single words on some papers, or there are like a few like something scribbled on napkins. We get some pretty interesting like visual things here, especially considering that Johnny is going more and more mad the more he edits this book. Like, look at this. There are a few pages that are like where there's barely anything on them. Like, you know what this reminds me of? That one poem by Monica, actually, from Doki Doki Literature Club. She does write a poem where she actually uses space as a means to convey meaning to her poem. It's kind of similar to this, where like it looks like a waste of paper, but it's like it conveys meaning. Like sometimes you would have like one word on a page, like just the word door. That's it. And it also has like secret code hidden in it. Like for example, there's one chapter on Morse codes because the Navidson, like in the documentary Navidson record, they use Morse code to communicate as they go further and further into like exploring this hallway and this room structure that shouldn't actually be there, because radios would like at some points like not really work because they would be too far in, and like the actual text is written Morse code then, not like in where there are Morse code here as well, but you would have let me find a good page. Like here, for example, a footnote by Johnny. I have scribbled into the book, and there would be like short and long paragraphs. So if you transcribe them into Morse code, like short paragraphs to short, like to a dot, and long paragraphs to a minus, you would get a message. So there are like things like these hidden in the book, or there's like one section where the mother of Johnny writes to Johnny, like a letter to Johnny. But the thing is that she was like in a hospital, and she thought like, oh, they take my letters and they don't want me to read them because they actually abuse me here at the hospital and stuff. And ever since that new doctor came, they like abuse me. So she wrote it in a code form. I don't think I can actually find it. But yeah, like you can see, I've added a ton of notes to this because there's like a lot to discover. Like there are biblical references, there are some parts written in French and Latin that you have to translate yourself. It's awesome. And I haven't finished it because it's kind of work to get through. Like it is written like an academic text after all, so it's a bit dry. Though there is one section, for example, that's on echoes. Like it describes like the full like physical like thing behind how like physics, how like echoes work, like how big the room has to be for an echo to actually exist. And the thing is, that's the only thing I'm going to spoiler. The like awesome thing is that at the end, you get like this huge aha moment. Like you read through this and you're like, oh man, that's totally boring. Like why would I need to know how echoes work, how an echo works? And then you go like, oh wait, okay, so this means if this room is at least this big or bigger than this amount of size, then it's too big for an echo to actually exist. And then you go like, they're in this like room, like they've went down this corridor into a room, into another room, and so on, like exploring this like mansion in the Navidson record documentary. And then there's no echo anymore. And then you're like, oh wait, this means that the room they're in is actually gigantic. Which, like, it's like a pretty interesting moment when you realize, like, whoa. Okay. That's enough about me nerding about this book. I can recommend it. It's pretty good. Pretty good. He actually made a few more books. I was thinking of reading some of those as well because they are they're pretty like also like interestingly written, like visually, just like this one. Let's see, which one was it? Was it On the Revolution maybe? Or The Familiar? Actually not sure what these are. I thought there was like a book that he wrote that was pretty similar to House of Leaves in Vain. Like there's the whole Whalestow Letters, which is more about like Johnny, the main character, and his mother. But yeah, I'll probably read a few more of his books maybe once I finish this one. She let me check out the book that you recommended now, A Monster Calls. Low fantasy. What the heck is low fantasy? Ah. Fantasy fiction where magical events intrude on an otherwise normal world. Okay. Let's see what this is about. 13-year-old Connor O'Malley awakens from the same nightmare he's been experiencing for the past few months. The one with the darkness and the wind and the screaming. At 7 minutes after midnight, a voice calls to him from outside the bedroom window, which overlooks an old church and its graveyard sheltered by a yew tree. Walking to the window, Connor meets the monster who calls, a towering mass of branches and leaves formed in a human shape from the yew tree. The monster is intrigued that Connor is not afraid of it and insists that Connor summoned it. The monster claims to be a version of the Green Man, wants that it will tell Connor 3 true stories, after which Connor must tell a story of his own. And if it is not true, the monster will eat him. Okay, so it's like a bit like a short story-ish collection, is it? Illustrations. Just giving me like the movie. I think I should check it out. It looks pretty interesting. Kind of like it. Look at this. It's really cool. Okay. Let's get off House of Leaves. So the thing is, I'm going to read House of Leaves probably this semester, and I probably won't have time to read anything else. But I actually did remember a few books that I read in the past as a child, mainly, which I might be able to recommend. But the thing is, I read them as a child and I liked them as a child. So I'm not 100% sure whether I would still like them as an adult or if you would like them as an adult. You might have maybe heard of Warrior Cats. Like, Warrior Cats has, look at how many books and spin-offs this has. Like, I read this back in school when it was still only coming out here in Germany. Oh, the reason it's interesting is a spoiler. Okay, got it. Then I'll definitely make sure to not to spoil myself and keep it in mind when I want something to read. So yeah, Warrior Cats. It's about cats. I actually don't like the official covers that much. Let me show you the German covers. German covers are way cooler in my opinion. Like, look at this. That's the first season. Like, it's all like in the same vein, and the art looks really cool with the like bright glowing eyes and the vibrant like colors, and it's all like in one form. Like, you always have a cat here with something like going on down here, as opposed to this where it's like episode changing. Kind of like there's always a cat on the cover, of course. There's like this warriors thing up here. But I don't know. The German covers look kind of cooler, in my opinion. Anyhow, this book was written by Aaron Hunter, which is actually which consists of multiple people. Like, there are multiple writers here. I think 4, but I'm not sure. It could have been like only 2 who wrote the original series. I'm not 100% sure. But it's a book about cats, so maybe that already might disqualify it as being like interesting to adults, but it was definitely interesting to me as a child, someone who likes cats. And it's about a house cat called, what was called Sammy in German, but it's called Rusty in English. And that house cat like runs away from home into the like forest and starts living there in like a clan. How many clans are there? There you go, clans. There's like the Thunder Clan, the River Clan, the Wind Clan, the Shadow Clan, the Sky Clan. Okay, the Sky Clan is new, that's why I don't know it. And the Star Clan. I only read the first season, meaning the first 6 books. Like, after the first 6 books, there was like a new main character. The first 6 books are only about Sammy, or Rusty, the cat. So he joins the Thunder Clan. That they've been known to take in loners or kitty pets who need help, which enables their clan to grow. So he was taken in by the Thunder Clan, which like mainly inhabits the like forest area, I think. River Clan, which is by the like river, they mainly catch fish. The Wind Clan, what do? They sleep under the silver pelt. They're proud of being closest to both the Moonstone and the Moon Pool. Okay, and the Shadow Clan, which is like, well, they're said to be like evil-ish, but well, they're just having a hard time. And the Star Clan, which is like the dead cats. That's where their ancestors are. And we have Rusty, who I guess becomes Lion Blaze. They get like their own new names, like Jay Feather, Ivy Pool, Alderheart, it's like all about how these clans interact, and like Rusty, for example, gets to know someone from the River clan. I think they actually fall in love and stuff. Like there's some romance involved. He tries to contact the Star clan. Like he has to negotiate with the Wind clan for that, or he goes to the Shadow clan and has to do something there and meets like some cat that's kind of being an ass. Or like his territory gets attacked, and I think the Shadow clan wants to expand their territory, which is why they might attack actually, or something like that. It was a pretty interesting book, and I got a bit shocked when I saw how many book series there are. Like I knew there was one more new series. I think it's the son of Rusty, who continues the story. And then there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 more, 4.5 more. And like, well, it's a comic, it says manga, but it's actually more like a comic. I'd argue, novellas, field guides. Holy moly. Perfect Blue. Oh yeah, Perfect Blue was awesome. I can recommend pretty much all movies by Makoto Shinkai, which I think that's his name. Satoshi Kon. Shinkai was the one who made like Kimi no Na wa and stuff, I think. But Satoshi Kon made like Perfect Blue, Millennium Actress, Tokyo Godfathers. I personally didn't enjoy as much. Paranoia Agents, I watched half of it and enjoyed it. I forgot to finish it. Paprika was really awesome. I watched it like 5 times already. So yeah, I can recommend pretty much all of those. Yumimiro, Kirai, no idea what that one is, and Ohio, also no idea what that is. But yeah, I can definitely recommend all of these. So like I said, Tokyo Godfathers wasn't really personally my thing, but all the others, really awesome. Another book that I read was called Are You Pleasant, which is kind of like the edgy teen kind of reminded me of Harry Potter a bit. It's about like a skeleton detective and a girl, Stephanie Edgley. She's actually called Edgley. Holy moly, for the extra edge. But yeah, someone like breaks into her house, and but she gets saved by a magic wielding skeleton, Skullduggery Pleasant, who, well, looks like this. And well, they try to like find out more about, or Stephanie tries to find out more about her uncle and stuff, and they like go against like evil people. Kind of that. I only read like the first 3 books, I believe, but I kind of enjoyed that one. There's like one scene that I vividly remember where they're like, would remind me of Harry Potter. There's like a thing, like some kind of object that's stashed away somewhere to be protected, like in an official place. Like, you know, you can imagine like the Ministry of Magic or something, or Skullduggery Pleasant, I think. That's how I imagined it. It's like in the middle of this room, and she's like, what the heck, it's just lying there, it's not like protected at all. Like everyone can just walk up to it and take it, and that's it. And the one who like takes care of the like objects, or who like works at that place, is like, nah, well, go and try to take it. And she like goes up to it, like, but the closer she goes, she's like, why the heck do I have to do it? Like, I don't really need to take it to prove anything. Like, I can just turn back. Like, there's nothing for me to prove here. What's the use of going up and taking it? And then she turns around and goes back. He's like, see? Perfectly protected, because there's like a charm on it that makes people, like the closer they get, the more it makes them not want to take it. So personally enjoyed that book, the first 3, but they're like, how many are there? Like 2 series with 9 books, and then again 4 books in the second series. It's long. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of famous, so I guess it tried to ride the wave. I mainly read all of those also because of my school library, like Warrior Cats, Skull Pleasant, and this one, The Secret of Immortal Nicholas Flamel. I as well did only see them like in the school library, and I was like, hey, this looks cool. I should read that. So yeah, The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel. It's like about 2, like twins, not twins, siblings. They like find a book, I think. No, they see how the bookstore owner, Nick Fleming, who's actually Nicholas Flamel, the immortal alchemist, like battles someone who tries to steal the book, and so they get like pulled into this like magical world of like immortal beings. Like there's Nicholas Flamel, there's Machiavelli, I guess. What's that one called? John the Ark. That one's there. So yeah, a lot of like famous figures from history that are still alive. It's like a really cool, like epic fantasy thing. Like full of magical creatures, full of like magic, full of people who can use magic. I read 6 books out of 7. I didn't read Enchantress yet, though I think I might pick it up again. Like I probably have to read a summary of the first 6 or so books again, because it's been like 10 years since I read it. But yeah, this book series was definitely awesome. I guess I really liked like magical, like books, like fantasy books with magic, like See Skullduggery Pleasant, The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel, Harry Potter. I've never actually read Harry Potter, I have to admit. I think I've read the first part, or my mother read the first book to me in Russian. But yeah, I've watched like all 8 movies last week, like in 1 week. I watched all of them, and yeah, I think the movies have aged really well. Like all of I've pretty much enjoyed all of them except like Half-Blood Prince. I was like fully sure if I enjoyed it, but I think it was kind of still good. And Deathly Hallows was pretty not my thing, definitely, like the movies, because for one, a lot of off-screen deaths. In the first, like barely anything happens in the first part of the movie. Other things that happen off-screen that might have been interesting to see, but then just get thrown at you like in post. So yeah, I think I want to read the novels, because also a few people also said that a few things from Deathly Hallows are kind of hard to understand without having read the books. So yeah, it was a bit weird. There was also a scene in the movie, the second part of the movie, where they're like in this one like vault, and Hermione tries to use the like spell to find something, because she wants to find that one goblet that is a Horcrux. And then the goblin says magic won't work here, and at the same time they have like luminous magic on, so they're using magic even though magic shouldn't work. I had to like read up in a like some article where they explained that goblin just meant that kind of magic won't work, like the like finding stuff magic. But other kinds of magic, like luminous magic, does work. It was a bit confusing. So yeah, maybe I could try listening to the audiobooks. Should check it out. But yeah, I wanted to read some of those as well, though it will probably take me forever. But I think I might enjoy them more, especially towards the end, than the movies. Because yeah, the last few movies really weren't my thing. The first few ones, maybe because of nostalgia, they were awesome. But yeah, I don't have much nostalgia for the last few movies. One book series I did have though was Tanya Grotzo. And yes, you can see parties of Harry Potter. It's like a knockoff Harry Potter, Russian Harry Potter. My mother bought like the first 2 books or so. I think we've gifted them away already to like my cousins or something. Like there's Tanya Grotto and the Magical Double Bass and Tanya Grotto and the Disappearing Floor. Like these were the 2 that we owned. I think I read a bit of the first one. Like it just reminded me of this one. This is actually like the first one. Apparently none of the books are available in English because the first one has breached copyright. Like they're okay with, they can distribute it in Russia, which is why I did own those 2 books, but they can't really in English, so they can't really translate it. So yeah, the Dutch court actually found way too many similarities to the first Harry Potter book, like between the first Harry Potter book and the first Tanya Grotto book. Actually surprised how many parodies there are. I guess not that surprised because because it got really famous. Like there are a ton of Russian ones, for example, like Tanya Grotto, Polygatzer, Hori Proglotter, Denis Kotik, Ladin Piotr, A Boy Named Harry and His Dog Potter. I mean, this one's kind of obviously just a parody, but Tanya Grotto was kind of a shameless knockoff, even though they argued it's just a parody. We totally didn't mean to steal pretty much every plot point from Harry Potter. But yeah. I guess another famous book series that I want to read one day is A Song of Fire and Ice. Because I did watch a bit of the movie, the first movie, but I was like, do we really need that much like random sex scenes and stuff? Is it really necessary? I mean, that's how it's sold, I guess. But I'm hoping that the books won't be as focused on that, especially considering that the books are the ending of the movie is pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, the book series isn't even done, so it kind of makes sense. There are still 2 books left, and he's been writing it for 9 years. Who knows when it will come out? I mean, I'll take at least 20 years to read the book series, actually. So maybe it will work out. By the time I actually get to reading A Song of Fire and Ice, maybe I'll actually be it will actually be done. Elden Ring. Is this Elden Ring? Or is Elden Ring a different thing? I do remember Elden Ring being a thing. It's a video game. Right. It's the new From Software game. I forgot, and they are inspired by George R. R. Martin's Game of Thrones, right? I remember. Oh, and he's making the story and mythology. Okay, this is awesome. I mean, it's probably a reason why A Song of Fire and Ice is so famous. So, I haven't read it, so I can't say for sure how how much I will enjoy this story and the world building. But yeah, we'll see. There's also Aragon. I always wanted to read Aragon forever. A friend of mine actually has all the books and has said that he could lend them to me. How many books are there? Like multiple books, aren't there? Aragon. I think it had like multiple books. Doesn't it? Doesn't actually have a German page, weirdly enough. Weird. Very weird. But yeah, it's pretty interesting because he self-published it. Promote the novel by himself, apparently. It was republished and became a pretty big deal. The third best-selling children's hardback book of 2003. Second best-selling paperback of 2005. The inheritance cycle. I got it. Okay. Aragon eldest Brising inheritance. Okay. I thought they were all like called Aragon. Okay, they are called Aragon in German. So there are the Aragon series in Germany. Aragon tetralogy. But in English they're called inheritance cycle. So that's why I was confused. They're like 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Kind of want to read it one day. Okay. Actually, before we get to The Last Samurai, this is actually the last book that I read. So I did actually read a book in the last 10 years. At least one. Picnic am Wegesrand. Let me switch to the English page. Roadside Picnic. I did actually read it in English. It was like too difficult for me to read it in Russian, unfortunately. So this one I can actually also recommend. It was made by Arkady and Boris Strugatsky, which are maybe the only well-known Russian authors that I like, because they actually make fiction, science fiction in this case. Like, I could never get myself to read through a book of like Pushkin's or Tolstoy or whatever. Well, I did think about reading Lolita maybe one day, because it's apparently a shitpost movie. Because Nabokov shitposts in it a lot. He makes up words and stuff. That's how a friend of mine who read it described it to me. It's kind of, it is controversial a bit, with Lolita being a romance with a younger girl kind of deal. But erotic motives and controversy. So yeah. And some people say it isn't erotic at all. It's characterized by irony and sarcasm. So yeah, I guess that's what a friend of mine meant when he said it's a shitpost. He Nabokov shitposted in that novel. He meant it in a positive way, in a comical way. There's a lot of it's fun to read, because it's fun to read all that sarcasm and all those weirdly made up sentences and words. But yeah, Roadside Picnic is a let me just read this one aloud. It's a work of fiction based on the aftermath of an extraterrestrial event called the Visitation, that simultaneously took place in half a dozen separate locations around Earth over a 2-day period. Neither the visitors themselves nor their means of arrival or departure were ever seen by the local populations, who lived inside their relatively small areas, each a few square kilometers, of the 6 visitation zones. It actually said they heard a sound and went blind from hearing that sound. So Pretty interesting. The zones exhibit strange and dangerous phenomena not understood by humans and contain artifacts with inexplicable, seemingly supernatural properties. The title of the novel derives from an analogy proposed by the character Pielman. Actually, I love that analogy. A picnic, picture a forest, a country road. Like he and another like scientist talk about why they visited Earth in the first place, and like their theories, like they just want to check on us, or it was an attack or something. And this guy says, imagine it was just like a picnic. Picture a forest, a country road, a meadow. Cars drive off the country road into the meadow. A group of young people get out carrying bottles, basket of food, transistors, radios, and cameras. They light fires, pitch tents, turn on the music. In the morning, they leave. The animals, birds, and insects that watch in horror through the long night creep out from their hiding places. What do they see? Old spark plugs and old filters strewn around racks, burnt out bulbs, and a monkey wrench left behind. And of course, the usual mess: apple cores, candy wrapper, charred remains of the campfire, cans, bottles, somebody's handkerchief, somebody's pen knife, torn newspapers, coins, faded flowers picked in another meadow. So yeah, kind of says like the aliens were just there for a small picnic, and then they left. They didn't even care about the humans, and they didn't care that they polluted the place and made these zones uninhabitable, pretty much. Like there are like places where the gravity is ultra hard, like ultra strong, where it like squishes you like a pancake. There's like slime that melts your bones. There are like different kinds of like mechanical stuff that humans have no idea what to do with, stuff like that. I literally just got the whole DDLC in real life thing. Yeah, we're doing a book club. A Doki Doki Literature Club. Doki Doki Literature Club. Book club. So yeah. Can kind of recommend it. I also want to read what's it called? Hard to Be a God, which is pretty interesting as well. Like it's defined like a different planet Earth. No, they're from future planet Earth, on an alien planet that is kind of like the Middle Ages, and they are supposed to just watch them and just I think to be able to maybe understand their own like history, and they are not allowed to like interact with them or like use their advanced knowledge to do stuff. That they're just supposed to like watch it like go by and like document everything, like see how they evolve from that middle-aged society. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I know about it. But I guess here's the conflict. The book pays a lot of attention to the internal world of the main character, showing his own evolution from an emotionally uninvolved observer to the person who rejects the blind belief and fury when confronted with the cruelty of real events. So yeah, they're like, it's like middle-aged society, so there's definitely some cruelty going on there. Maybe some like people burning on the stake. And here's someone from a future society where stuff like that wouldn't really be tolerated or isn't as common. Is of course mortified by it, but he's not allowed to interact with the people properly because he's just an observer. Like he's not allowed to be like, no, this is wrong. While all the other people who are maybe less educated or have a different moral what's it called? Different morals. Who have different morals, like they react differently to it than him. But yeah, one day I read it. One day. Mother has actually a lot of the like books by Akadi. Like she has the full like book series of books from the Strugatsky brothers. but they're in Russian, and I'm not good enough in Russian to properly read them without like looking up every second word. And let me get to the last book, The Last Samurai. So this one's pretty interesting. I actually wanted to reread it in the future. Like I read it as a child when I was like 15, or as a teenager when I was like maybe 15 or so. And there's some pretty complicated themes in there. And so I was like, I kind of enjoy this, but I want to read this again in the future when I maybe can get a better grasp on things in this novel. So it's a bit maybe, what would you call it? A bit pretentious, maybe. It's a bit of a strong word, but it's kind of a bit like this. Like there's a guy, a boy called Ludo. It's kind of a genius. Like he learns to like look, he starts reading at 2, reading Homer in the original Greek. At 3, he goes on to Hebrew, Japanese, Old Norse, Inuit, advanced mathematics. He learns like what's one mathematician called? Like there's a from the Netherlands. I forgot his name, but yeah, he learns like pretty complicated stuff. Like he has a dictionary, like a what's Netherlandish? What language do you speak in the Netherlands? Let's see. Dutch. Yeah, so he has like a Dutch dictionary next to him, but he's reading that book by this like Dutch mathematician. So yeah, and in school he's kind of like a bit insufferable. He like goes like this is all too boring. I already know all that stuff. I didn't want to go to school since they can't teach me anything anyways. So he asks his mother if he can like just stay at home and learn stuff there, like by himself. And she's like, okay, I guess. So yeah, he has barely any like human interaction pretty much, since he's just like reading books all the time, learning stuff. And the thing is, he doesn't really have a father, so he's just growing up with his mother, and he eventually goes on a search to find his father, which is the most interesting part in my opinion. I think the book was originally called The Seventh Samurai or something, where it was like yeah, there's like they love watching Seven Samurai, like the movie, like the son and his mother, like they watch it every now and then. So to stand in for a male influence in his upbringing, Siberia plays him as Seven Samurai. So yeah, in the end he goes like to search for his father. There might actually be 7 candidates that he goes through, but I'm not sure. But he is like, okay, I'm a genius, so my father's got to be a genius as well. So he goes on the search to, find his father. There's some pretty interesting like figures. Like I really like the interactions with these people. Like he goes to a pretty famous like artist, and he's like, "Hey, could you be my father?" And that artist is like, just wants to be left alone. Like he just thinks that Ludo is a like fan, another like extreme fan. So he takes like some sharp objects and if I remember correctly, like puts his autogram into the boy's arm, so he leaves him alone, which is pretty extreme. There's another one who like this stuck with me, where there's like someone who is who wants to commit suicide, and Ludo like talks with him. Like Ludo, since he didn't have much like interaction like with other people, because he's highly logical, he kind of talks about suicide themes in a pretty dry way. Like he tells that guy that he heard that like Ludo tells that guy who wants to commit suicide that he heard that pills are actually like a pretty bad method because it apparently hurts a lot. And then he tells him how drowning could be another option, though it hurts at first and then gets better as soon as the like water fills the lungs. So it's a pretty like interesting book, definitely, with like the themes of like intelligence and the interactions with like other people, of someone who has had like not a lot of like interaction with other people. But yeah, it was actually a film. Yeah, it got pretty good reviews. But yeah, like I said, it feels a bit like, because of the themes of intelligence, it feels a bit pretentious sometimes. Like there's also a music scene where his mother goes to a concert, and there's like this famous musician, and that musician plays like the same phrase over and over again, like in a loop all the time, like pretty much forever. And she's like sitting there and being like, what the heck? This is kind of boring. He's just playing the same thing over and over again. And then when he finally moves on, she starts to cry because she realizes like, oh, it's like they got so used to the theme and now it's just leaving them and to never come back again. Maybe she was thinking of the father and how he left them or something. Maybe she left the father, I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting to say the very least. That's all I have for books. How about you guys? Do you have any like interesting books that you could recommend me? Like I'm definitely going to read The House of Leaves next, definitely. Probably going to start anew because it's been like forever since I've read it. It's like, how many pages long? 662. Without the appendix, about 500, 550. Yeah, 530 pages. Of course, there's a Harry Potter audiobook, maybe. Yeah, I might actually try the Harry Potter audiobook as well. And then there's Aragon and the Song of Fire and Ice. I have a lot to read if I ever get around to reading. I guess I like have a huge list of anime that I want to watch as well, and a huge list of what's it called? Video games that I want to play. Too much to do, too little time. Maybe I should take like a semester off and just like I was thinking of taking a semester off anyways. So maybe I should just take a semester off and just read and play and watch and just relax for one semester. Maybe get like a side job, like a mini job, to save some money. But okay, that's pretty much all from me. This was a bit of a like more just me talking about Russian music and video games and books. But yeah, I'm going to end it here. It's been over 2.5 hours. I thought this was actually going to be a shorter stream. But yeah, next stream is going to be on Friday, most likely. Like Friday, like around the same time. Saturday, actually. Saturday around the same time. Not sure what we're going to do. Maybe go through the Patreon posts. Getting some good editing done there. Maybe some more like Russian music stuff. because I am going to go to the library this week again to research the Russian 5 again. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Okay, I will see you next Saturday then. See ya.